All right. All right. Welcome, YouTubers. Nobody's here yet, of course, because I screwed up, but I will get TikTok rolling while we're waiting for the YouTubers. Yeah, that was very funny. Totally forgot about YouTube. Oops. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right. Let me get TikTok set up now. But yeah, I can see you guys on Discord, but it's just, like I said, it's a lesser. Oh, there's Flying Medic. Hey, guys. Sorry about that, Medic. I forgot to get things rolling on YouTube. I totally spaced out. Oops, sorry, live. Trying to get TikTok going today. All right, live goal. All right, people, there we go. People are showing up now. Sorry, I didn't get YouTube set up in time, guys. Sorry about that. Live goal. 1 second here. The cotton candy's kind of cute. Cotton candy's kind of cute. All right. All right. TikTok rolling. Excellent. Hey, guys, there we go. All right. Doom. TikTok reversed. All right. TikTok is ready. Excellent. Okay. Woo-woo. Sorry about that. I did show up. I forgot to set up the YouTube room in advance because I'm a moron. So sorry. Anyway, sorry. All right. Welcome, everybody. Hi, guys. TikTokers, YouTubers, everybody, Discordians. Welcome, everybody. John Aravosis here. Sorry for forgetting to set up the room on YouTube. Oh, well, it happens. Anyway, yeah, so there's not a ton of, I will tell you, there's not a ton of news today. We're going to talk, but I think this is going to be more of a hangout because we'll talk about the news, but there just isn't a lot of news. The American news, there isn't a ton, and the Ukrainian news, there's even less because basically it was a washout. The Russians chickened out at the talks today with the Ukrainians. So there's like no news, so to speak, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Anyway, welcome everybody. So I'm John Aravosis. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about the latest news from the US, latest news from Ukraine. As I said, there isn't a ton of news today. This will be more of a hangout talk. I've got TikTokers here. I've got Discord there, YouTube over here. Anyway, maybe do hey, you're Walter Banks. Jab, jab. Good to see you. Like pulling this up my TikTok too. We'll check TikTok I follow a lot of interesting people on TikTok. To see about sort of news there. Oh, oh, that's funny. Actually, we might as well start talking. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh my God. Oh, that is absolutely hilarious. This guy's great. There's a guy on TikTok, Paulie Ticks, and he does funny photoshopped images and videos, and he's very good at it, and he's very edgy. Like he always skirts the edge a bit, but it's funny as hell. He just did an image because obviously, right, we all know about Trump getting bribed by the government of Qatar. Thank you, Mustard, for the hearts. Trump is getting bribed by the government of Qatar. That is basically giving him a new Air Force One. They're giving him the luxury 747 or whatever the hell it is, 737, whatever it is, that the king flew. So it's the king's jet. They're giving it to Trump to use as Air Force One. Thank you, Sama. Thank you, Adventurers, for the gifts. And afterwards, after Trump leaves office, they're going to give it to Trump, to his library, which is going to give it to Trump for the rest of his life. So Trump literally got the gift of Air Force One from a foreign government, and he's going to get the plane itself when he leaves. Total bribery from the government of Qatar. Thank you, Adventurers. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Jorge. Well, at the same time, there's a story today that Trump, I will show you the picture. It's really kind of disgusting. Trump decided to put a 50-foot tall picture of his face on the side of the Department of Agriculture. Americans don't, again, any of you who aren't American, we don't do this. This is Soviet. This is what the communists do. We literally don't do this in America. We don't put up pictures of the president. Quite literally, the president's picture goes in the various agencies, and it's this big. It's a picture this big of the president, a picture this big of the vice president in all the agencies. That's it. And there's one of them in the entryway. That's it. Trump, I think even grosser, even more gross, actually. Let me find the other picture. Here we go. The actual, wait a second. Let me get my glasses on. It'll be easier for me with my glasses on. the full scale of what he did, which, like I said, it's total. This is the full scale. So the full scale of what he did, he put up a picture of Lincoln and then himself. Lincoln was one of our most famous presidents. So there's Abraham Lincoln on one side and then Donald Trump on the other. Again, God only knows what Abraham Lincoln has to do with this. We don't do this in America. Let me show you who does do this. For example, hang on here. Like I said, it's the Soviets. It's the communist Chinese. This is the Soviet Union. There's Stalin and Lenin. This is, again, Soviet Union, Stalin and Lenin. This is Lenin, Soviet Union. Get you a few more here. That's me with my new glasses. Another Lenin from the Soviet Union in 1983. We've also got, this is Andropov, another Soviet leader, around 1983 or so. Stalin in East Germany. Okay. And then again, Trump and Lincoln. Now, the thing that I thought was most interesting about this was, and I want to show you this. I'm looking at this and I'm going, this looks familiar. Why does this look familiar? And I remember from the 1980s, there were two TV shows that were very famous, two miniseries. The most famous one was called Red Dawn. It was about the Soviet Union taking over America. And it was really cheesy, but kind of scary at the same time because we're in the middle of the Cold War. The other one was a miniseries on ABC called America, and it was spelled with a K. And this one might have been about the Cubans taking over and the North Koreans. It was the Soviets too, but I forget exactly what the difference in the story was. America. There's a scene after the Soviets have taken over America, and they're having a parade. And the parade is like for Lincoln Day to celebrate President Lincoln. And the townspeople are watching the parade, but it's the parade after the Soviets have taken over America, and they've tried to use the American traditions to turn the people into Soviets. And I'm laughing because I'm looking at that picture of Trump. One more time, let me pull this up for you again. This picture of Trump next to Abraham Lincoln, right? This 50-foot picture of Donald Trump. And again, in America, we don't do this. We don't put up pictures of a sitting. We don't do this for any presidents. We certainly don't do it for a sitting president. A sitting president does not pay taxpayer money to put up a huge picture of himself on a building. Like I said, that's communist governments do it. We don't. This was from the movie America. I'm turning off the sound but look, check this out from the parade. In the parade, they had Lincoln and Lenin. They literally had Lincoln, which even I thought was wilder. There's Lenin. The townspeople watching and getting a little upset about the Lenin-Lincoln thing. But I saw Trump and I thought, oh my God, I recognize this. And it's the parade. It's the Soviet parade showing Lincoln and Lenin. It probably is where they got the idea. Again, it's, you might say it's a small thing. It's not a small thing. We don't do that in America. We don't do iography. It's called iography when basically you elevate politicians to deity status. We don't do that. That literally is the Soviet Union. That literally is communist China with the big oversized pictures, right, of Mao and Xi and everybody else, right? We don't do that. Donald Trump is doing it. Show again. Donald Trump put up a big picture of himself on one of the federal agencies today, a big, like 50-foot picture of himself. This is literally, it's fascist. It's actually more communist than fascist. It's North Korea. Exactly. It's North Korea, as Al Hassan just said. It's communist China. It's the Soviet Union. It's also Russia, too. Russia still does this because of the Soviet influence. This is very much a communist tradition to do this. Because Democrats are so bad at messaging, no one's going to call Trump out and say this is literally communist messaging that he's doing. He also spent taxpayer money to do this. Oh, it's real. Oh, it's real. Oh, trust me, I researched this to death. It's totally real. It's totally real. Hate to see you go. Thank you, Ashley. La la. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, it's real. It's real. Very sick. Very sick. Anyway, all right. There is not a lot of news today, but we're going to try anyway. USDA in DC, correct, correct. I could run down there. I have no desire to run down there. I already Googled and confirmed it. The Secretary of Agriculture herself even retweeted it. So, I mean, I could go down there, but she's already, you know what I mean? It's already there. I'm with you. I thought of going down, but then I confirmed it anyway, and I was like, all right. I mean, I don't know that I want to go. I mean, I could go down and like flip the finger or something. TikTok, YouTube would like it. TikTok may not like that, but you know. Anyway. Oh my God. All right. So let's keep going with the news. So Saturday, a quick reminder. I'm probably Saturday morning. I'm not going to do my special show Saturday morning because Saturday afternoon at 3:00 Eastern time, that's 3:00 Washington, D.C. time, New York City time, I will be hosting a Eurovision watch party. We're going to hang out. We're going to watch the Eurovision Song Contest finals. We do this every year, almost every year. From 3:00 to around 6:30. Usually the winner is picked around 6:30. But it's fun. We hang out, we watch it. We each put it on our TV or our computer or wherever you can find it, and we just sort of chat. It's fun. We sort of chat about it, but it's quite fun. So there you go. Just don't forget about that. We'll skip, like I said, we'll skip the Saturday morning show because if I'm doing 3.5 hours in the afternoon, I'm not doing an hour in the morning. That's a bit much. But do pop by for some of it if you can. What else we got here? Birthright citizenship. So Trump, this issue is actually a little more complicated, I think, than people are making it. And what I mean is Trump, Supreme Court heard today the case of Trump trying to outlaw birthright citizenship. Now, Trump actually has a point here. What he's doing might not be legal, as always with Donald Trump, right? It may not be legal what he's doing, but he's got a point. And the thing is, in the US and something like 30 other countries, you become a citizen automatically if you're born here. If you're born on US soil, you become a citizen. And a lot of people, and actually the irony here is Trump says it's a lot of, Latino immigrants. It's actually Russians. I mean, there's a lot of Latino immigrants it happens to too, but a lot of Russians come here, Russian women come here pregnant to give birth. And they come here on tourist visas and give birth. And then the Russian women have American babies. I don't think that's right. I don't think you should come here on vacation in order to have a baby that becomes automatically American. Chinese too, I did not know that. I think it's inappropriate. I really do. I'm sympathetic on that point. I also, honestly, if you're here illegally, same thing should apply. If you're here illegally, I don't think, again, if the law says so, then we don't have a choice, right? And that's where I differ from Trump. Trump doesn't mind breaking the law. If the law says they become Americans, they become Americans. But I don't love the idea of somebody coming here illegally, having a baby, and then the baby becomes American when they're here illegally, right? I don't love the idea of the Russians literally coming here pregnant in order to give birth so that their baby's American. I think it's inappropriate. But what Trump is doing is trying to ban it anyway, even though, it's in the Constitution. It's not something that can probably be gotten around. Well, they went to the Supreme Court today. They're trying to, sort of Trump is trying to get rid of it. The case in the Supreme Court today, though, I'm not convinced that we're going to get a clear answer from the Supreme Court because the case was a little more narrow today. Let me read this to you. This might have been New York Times. Supreme Court heard arguments on Thursday in a case related to President Trump's executive order trying to end so-called birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to undocumented migrants. I love when they say undocumented migrants. Even the New York Times does this. They're not migrants. They're not coming here to work and then going back home in 3 months and then coming here next summer to work and going back home. That's a migrant. They're undocumented immigrants. If you want to call them undocumented, I disagree with that word too, but they're not migrants. I get upset because I'm a linguist guy and I don't like the way people play with words to try to influence us. It annoys me a little bit. They're not workers either. I mean, they're immigrants. They were here illegally, but whatever. The question before the judges was narrower, whether a single district court judge has the power to block a policy across the country. That's the issue here. So the issue is for this court isn't deciding if Trump can get rid of birthright citizenship. It's whether a judge, a lower level judge, can ban Trump from implementing it nationwide. The problem, not the problem, but the issue here, very likely, Supreme Court is supposed to decide cases as narrowly as possible. They're supposed to, meaning if they don't have to do a larger analysis, they won't do it. So in this case, if they don't have to decide if birthright citizenship should be allowed or not, if it can be banned or not, they won't do it. Typically, in this case exactly, the issue before them isn't birthright citizenship. It's whether a lower level judge has the power to block a Trump policy nationwide or just in his district, just in his state, right? Just in his area of the country. Typically, the court would make that decision, but they wouldn't rule on the birthright thing. So, but that's typical. We don't know if that's going to happen that way. Oh, thank you. Who got the cotton candy? Succeed. Thank you. I was curious about that gift. Thank you for the cotton candy. Succeed. Thank you, Carol. Laddie, Mustard, more gifts. So I missed a couple of you guys throwing gifts up here. Thank you, Mustard. So it's not totally clear whether or not we're going to get an answer on birthright citizenship. But as I said, I think the birthright thing is a little gray. I mean, Trump being Trump, thank you, Dimitri, for the gift. Trump being Trump is, of course, doing things to be, a little racist, but nonetheless. All right. Let's talk about Ukraine. As I said, there is not a ton of news today. And the Ukraine news, there isn't a ton either because the Russians got chicken. Thank you, Addie, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, by the way, guys. I do this for a living. I do it full time. Your gifts pay the bills. So please keep them coming. It is day 1,175 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation in Ukraine. The Russians were supposed to have peace talks with Ukraine today. They chickened out. The peace talks didn't happen. Things are in chaos. It looks like they might happen tomorrow. The Russians got scared. Basically, just to remind people again, kind of how this came about. Okay. Last week, the Europeans and the Americans, Trump administration and the European governments get together and they decide that they are going to force Russia to join a 30-day ceasefire with Ukraine. The Ukrainians say, we're on board. The Russians were not on board. So Trump gets together with the European leaders and says, if the Russians do not get on board, Cassie, you're taking a time out. Bye, Cassie. Love you. Don't come back now. You hear? Bye-bye. Actually, mods, I'm too tired to get rid. Just get rid of Cassie. She's being annoying. I love people who think, by the way, I try not to engage with trolls too much, but like, if you think I'm going to pronounce I don't even know what she's complaining about. If you think I'm going to pronounce the names of Arabic countries in Arabic, you got another thing coming. I speak Spanish. I don't plan on speaking Spanish to you when I talk about Spanish stuff. I speak Greek. I'm not going to call Greece helada. I'm not going to say I speak Ellinica. I don't do that game. And I'm not going to call Qatar Qatar or however the heck you say it in Arabic. That's just dumb. So I don't even know what she was. Some troll was complaining. Say the name of the country correctly. Like what? I don't even know what country I've been talking about, to be honest. But maybe it was Turkey. Turkiya. Like people need to kind of get over themselves. But in any case, it's okay. It's okay. So here's what's going on. The Europeans get together with Trump. They say, we're going to have a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine. And if the Russians don't agree, we're going to sanction them. Putin turns around and goes, don't sanction me. I've got a better idea. We should have a peace negotiation. I'll sit down. Forget about the 30-day ceasefire. Forget about the sanctions. I will sit down with Zelensky and we will have peace talks Thursday of next week, which was today. And we'll do it in Turkey. Trump goes, great idea. Zelensky, you better meet with Putin on Thursday. Zelensky says, okay, I'll do it. So Zelensky heads to Turkey and Putin goes, oh, crap. Because Putin doesn't want to meet with Zelensky. Putin doesn't want peace talks. So Putin chickens out, doesn't go to Turkey. Putin chickens out again, won't even send his foreign minister Lavrov to Turkey. Whereas Trump sent Rubio and some other people. Trump sent his Secretary of State. Putin couldn't even send his foreign minister. So Zelensky shows up. He sends his defense minister to meet with the Russians. It's a lower level Russian guy who's there. Again, Putin refuses to go. The whole thing was a mess. Putin refuses to go. And they were supposed to talk today. They didn't talk. Oh, was the guy a troll? I was wondering about that, Amanda. I wasn't sure. I wasn't reading his quotes exactly. I wasn't sure if he was a Russian. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I did not even see his comments. Okay. Good. Thank you for catching that. I should have read more closely. I saw, okay, that's okay. You know how to watch them. So nothing happened today. The Russians chickened out. Now, the other interesting thing is the Russians literally tonight at like midnight in Turkey, the Russians said, well, we'll meet with the Ukrainians tomorrow. And the Russians, by the way, like to do this. Putin likes to make people wait for him. When one of Trump's negotiators, that Witkoff guy, the one who's pro-Russian, when he went to go meet with Putin, Putin reportedly made Witkoff wait for like 10 hours. He made him sit there for 10 hours before he would meet with him. Putin likes to do that. He does it to world leaders. He's a real jerk about it. And in this case, Zelensky called Putin's bluff and Putin blinked. Now, will the Russians meet with them tomorrow? Who knows? Trump and Rubio are already saying it doesn't look like anything is going to come of these talks because the Russians don't want peace. Trump did say something interesting. Thank you, Larissa. Thank you, Annie. Trump did say something interesting that he thinks, let me find Trump's exact quote. See if I can find it. I don't have his exact quote. Trump said that he thinks there's only going to be a breakthrough in peace when Trump and Putin sit down to negotiate. There's a couple problems here. One, Putin said he doesn't want Trump negotiating. Putin said he doesn't want America even involved in the process. Second problem, nobody else wants America involved in the process. Trump, who is pro-Putin, is going to negotiate with Putin. How does that work exactly, right? I mean, Trump can't, it's not like, and the funny part is the Russians like to say, oh, Trump represents Ukraine. Trump doesn't represent Ukraine. Trump represents Putin. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So why would you want Trump? Could you imagine Trump negotiating with Putin? I want Crimea. Okay. I want all 4 territories we invaded. Okay. I don't want Ukraine to ever have a military again. Okay. No NATO. Okay. Right? I mean, So in any case, everything's kind of a mess right now. The Russians chickened out. Tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Nobody expects anything good to happen tomorrow. It's a lower level Russian meeting with the Ukrainians anyway. But Zelensky did the right thing. He showed up. Zelensky's basically trying to show the world and also Trump that he's willing to play ball and the Russians aren't. And that's, I think, really important because Trump has been getting tired of the Russians' games. The question is whether Trump is really willing to stand up to the Russians, and I don't know that he is, but we'll see. Norway is going to complete its F-16 deliveries to Ukraine by the end of this year. Putin fired the commander of Russia's ground forces today, and that's honestly it for the news. There's no news today. There's no news. I mean, we could talk about other stuff if you guys know stuff out there, but there was almost no news today. As I said, the Ukraine stuff was pretty much that. Well, the problem with the Ukraine stuff was the meeting with Russia sucked the wind out of the news today. That was all the news, was the meeting with Russia, and nobody talked. There was no news because Russia called off the meeting. So that's all anybody talked about was Russia calling off the meeting. So anyway, yes, that's a good point, Blee. I meant to mention this. Trump did hint that maybe he's going to Turkey tomorrow. Initially, Trump's staff said, "Oh, he's not going to go to Turkey. Where the meeting's happening with the Russians and Zelensky." And then Trump today hinted at it and said, "Well, something like, you never know where I'm going tomorrow." So it's possible that Trump is going to go tomorrow to Turkey. It would actually be really good if he does go, because it would be embarrassing for the Russians if he shows up. So let's see what happens. Let's see. But it would be very good if Trump shows up tomorrow. But let's see. Anyway. I have not read On Tyranny by Tim Snyder, but we know him. He is very good. I'm not following the Diddy case. I don't really care. He's some rapper or something who I know his name and have no idea who he is otherwise. I mean, I just don't care. Meaning, if he's guilty, he should go to prison, but it's not like I care. You know what I mean? Like, to report on it. He's some rapper I don't follow. You know what I mean? No, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it just isn't. It'd be like reporting on Celine Dion. I know who she is, but I also am not into like reporting on, musicians every day. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's a nasty case, but I don't know. I can take a look at it. Also, on TikTok, we probably couldn't even talk about it anyway. Are you kidding? Since it's a case dealing with, that topic, one of those topics TikTok doesn't like. Habeas corpus, there is no update, kind-hearted. That's the Trump administration trying to get rid of protections for basically people getting grabbed by the cops off the streets. But thank you, Frizzle. But yes, I'm not following the case. So, I mean, feel free to care about it, Oh, TikTok is banning a lot dealing with that topic. Oh, that's interesting. I'm surprised. That's interesting. Huh. I am not aware of who's going to win Eurovision because I've not been paying attention to I always pay attention to the last day. So actually I have to Google and see, because I'm sure there's like the songs of the 20 finalists. Oh, funny. Greece's Euro song was sung by Anonymous Guri lookalike. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Is she Anonymous Guri sound alike? No India and Pakistan news. Nope. See, now everyone's talking about Eurovision. Poland has gone nuclear. I doubt it. First of all, that would be a huge story, and it's not really being reported anywhere. So, also, my guess is it's very hard to build nuclear weapons and nobody knows about it. So that sounds like a nice Russian rumor. Yeah, Lithuania as well. Yeah. Yeah. No. That sounds like wonderful Russian propaganda. So I wouldn't mind Poland having nukes. It'd be kind of fun. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, but no. Yep, there's nothing here. Yep. Now, what you're hearing about is, see, Poland has been talking with France about extending France's nuclear shield. That's what you're talking about. That's what you're hearing about. And the Russians are freaking out. Here we go. Listen to this, for example. This is from Deutsche Welle, a German paper. French President Macron said on Tuesday that he was open to discussing the potential deployment of his country's nuclear weapons elsewhere in Europe. Macron noted the United States already stations nuclear-armed aircraft in Europe. The Americans have the bombs on planes in Belgium, Germany, Italy, Turkey. Macron said, we are open to this discussion. I don't know. I think Poland might have been one of the places mentioned, and maybe that's why the issue came up. Up to 20 U.S. nuclear weapons are already stationed at a German military base. Poland, Denmark, and Lithuania have said in the past months that they were open to such a possibility. Polish Prime Minister Tusk said in March that Poland was talking seriously with France about being protected by French nuclear weapons. So my guess is you probably heard an update on that story, and you probably heard, because Macron did make a comment earlier in the week, and the Russians freaked out because, Russia being Russia. So, yeah. Anyway. La 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 la. Well, eventually with the French, they might get it though, because with America being less and less supportive of Europe, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna guess that you're a troll, since that tweet made absolutely no sense. No sense. Yeah, that comment made zero sense. That had to be a troll. Anyway, I like the French too. What else we got, guys? What else? I had more fun with ChatGPT today. It's been doing better. Maybe it's the new rollout, but it gave me a really good answer on some Greek stuff I was looking into. I was very impressed. So you never know. It might be surprising us. Yes, Jake Tapper's new book. Actually, that's true. We didn't talk about Jake Tapper's new book. Jake Tapper, CNN host, has a new book out about Biden. And basically, honestly, I think people are upset about it. I think it's fair game. Here's the thing. I think the critics of Jake Tapper have a point, but Jake Tapper also has a point. Tapper's book is basically that a lot of Democrats in the White House and out of the White House knew that Joe Biden wasn't doing terribly well, right? That he was getting really scary old, and they hid it from everybody, and that's wrong. I think that's true. We all know now Biden's sort of mental acuity was a surprise. We were all pretty pissed about it, and a lot of people knew and were hiding it. That's true. So I think it is fair. Biden did a book about it, talked to a lot of people, and I think it's fair game. Having said that, when the country is lurching towards an authoritarian dictatorship and fascism, it bothers me a little that the media is like, ooh, the biggest presidential constitutional crisis facing the country is that we had a president who was a little too old, when we've got a president putting up 50-foot photos of himself and taking bribes from Arab governments and breaking the law and try to violently overthrow the government, right? That bothers me. It does not mean that Biden shouldn't be, and frankly, let's face it, the fact that they hid Biden's health helped Biden stay in office when Biden said he wasn't going to stay in office. I mean, had they not hid Biden's health, Biden might have stepped down, or not stepped down, but might have at least announced he wasn't running again. And with 2 years to prepare, Kamala Harris or somebody else could have won, possibly. So Tapper's not wrong on that point either. Democrats should care about this issue. Thank you, Jinker, because actually Biden hiding his health might be the reason we lost the election, right? I mean, well, for a variety of reasons. One, Kamala Harris and Democrats didn't have time to build up a real campaign. Two, Biden's debate performance was so bad that people went, oh my God, right? And how do you come back from that? Had Biden announced 2 years before, he would have been the old guy not running again, and it wouldn't have been as shocking, I think, right? So, any case. So that's why I say I'm kind of on both sides. I think Jake had a right to write the book. I think his premise is not wrong because, again, remember, this is the honesty show. I'm not going to lie to you. We know about Biden being a problem. We know Biden screwed up. We know Biden lost us the presidency. I mean, we know he did, right? He wanted to run again, and he kept going too long. But at the same time, it still is a little weird that we're focusing on Joe Biden being too old when Donald Trump is being too fascist. It's a little, it's a little disconcerting. Having said that, it doesn't mean Biden gets a pass. Because actually, again, I will give a pro-democratic argument, which I was trying to give. What Tapper argues is Democrats better care about this because it was Democrats protecting Joe Biden that lost the election to Trump. So Tapper's point would be, if you want to hide information like this and not discuss it, you're going to get more Donald Trumps, which is a valid point, right? So I think, as I said, I think both sides have got an argument. I think Jake's got a point, but the critics of Jake also have a point. Jake's got many books out. So anyway. The Hogue stuff is interesting. So Jeffrey's asking what I think of David Hogue. I will tell you, I have been paying some attention, but not enough to the details. So David Hogue is one of the survivors of the, give me the name, what's the name? School in Florida where they had that horrific mass shooting now maybe 8 or 10 years ago. Name of the school, help me out, guys. Parkland, thank you. Parkland High School in Florida. No, it wasn't Sandy Hook. I was thinking Sandy Hook. I know that's Connecticut. Parkland High School. And David Hogue was one of the kids who survived. And he became a big activist. He then ran for a senior position at the Democratic National Committee, the Democratic Party, and won he might be 22 or 23 years old or something. He's very young. And he's in trouble now because he, and I think another guy too, announced that they're going to be primarying Democrats. They're going to go after Democrats in the primary who they don't like, who they think are not, being sufficiently supportive, whatever it is, of Democrats. And the Democratic Party is like, no, the official Democratic Party does not attack Democrats. The official Democratic Party doesn't try to make Democrats lose. Thank you, Stoneman Douglas. I was going to say Parkland wasn't the high school. I knew it when I was saying it. Stoneman Douglas. Remember, I was telling you Sandy. I remember some S name. Thank you for that, PC. Right. The school was Stoneman Douglas. The town was Parkland. So, in any case, so Hogue announced, from what I know, he was going to be going after Democrats in their primaries And the Democratic committee said, you're gone. That basically nobody can be in the Democratic leadership if they're trying to make Democrats lose, even in primaries. Now, let me ask, tell me about, I want to pull up a little bit. I say Hogue. It might be Hogg. I never know how to pronounce his name. I thought it was Hogue. But that's what I know. I'm trying to pull up a little more. We're using my little chat GPT here. Wait. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is interesting. In May 2025, the DNC's Credentials Committee voted to void Hogue's election, citing procedural violations during the voting process. The committee's decision was based on a complaint alleging that the election process disadvantaged female candidates, violating the DNC's gender parity rules. Oh, God. While the committee emphasized that the decision was due to procedural issues, Hogue and his supporters argue that it was politically motivated, stemming from his reformist agenda. Hogue has been vocal about his intentions to reform the Democratic Party. He announced plans to invest $20 million to support primary challengers against long-serving Democratic incumbents in safe blue districts. Oh, God. Aiming to bring fresh perspectives and energy to the party. Oh, God. Okay, that's not very good. Okay. I didn't realize that's what he was doing. Let me open up Daily Beast here. That's not great. Hang on a second here. 1 second here. Let me see here. Oops, where is this? Yeah, it depends. I mean, the problem is, first of all, you can't be in the Democratic Party leadership and try to make Democrats lose. Second of all, it doesn't matter, right? You don't get to. Here's one problem. People that have been in politics for 50 years have earned the right to be there. Somebody who's old and smart and their brain is there, they have more right than you to be in that job. Absolutely, positively. And there is this argument out there that, by the way, I got to witness it at the UN with my crazy staff there. They were in their 20s and they thought they were the shit. Literally, I'd been working on the internet for 20 years. And these children who had been working on the internet for 3 years were trying to tell me how the internet worked. My favorite was when they tried to lecture me about blogging and how blogging worked. I ran one of the top political blogs in the world. Okay. One of the top political blogs in America and the world. And these children literally said, that's not a blog post. No blog post would ever have something like that in it. And I looked at them and I was like, yeah, actually, it really would. So I've got an issue when people say just because Democrats are old, they shouldn't be in leadership positions. I've got news for you. It's the old people who earned the right to be in the leadership position. You haven't. If you're in your 20s and 30s and even 40s, you're a little young and you're not as experienced. You have not paid your dues. It's just like running a company. Very often, older people run companies because they've got more experience than you and they paid their dues. Like the problem is, I think, and again, it's fine. You can talk about new blood or whatever you want, but I think people are playing games. And Biden was too old. That's a different question, right? Some of these Democratic and Republican members of Congress, what's her name? Dianne Feinstein. My God, she should not have been there, right? But what bothers me is when people play this game and go, they're in their 70s or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. And I've got, let me put it this way. You've had 20 years experience and you think you should be running the company because you've been doing this for 20 years and you're in your 40s. Well, guess what? I've been doing this for 40 years. So if you have the right to run the company because you've got 20 full years experience, I've got 40 full years experience. So I double you in terms of the right to have the job because of all the experience I've got twice as much as you. I say hypothetically, right? If I were running a company, that's the problem I think young people have with this argument is it's honestly, it's a little bit of a Republican argument too, right? Oh, experience is bad, right? We wouldn't want somebody with experience in a job. That's a bad thing, Now, having said that, young blood is great. You might want young people to be higher up in the party. You might want young people to be, in other words, you want the young blood because they've got ideas. And frankly, like the internet, young people are going to be better at using the internet than somebody who's 80. You know what I mean? But I bristle a little. And again, I'm the first one to go after Biden on his age. Biden should not have been there. He was too old, right? But I bristle at this, party leaders are old. Of course they're old. And guess what? Businessmen and businesswomen are old too. CEOs are old. And a lot of our experienced doctors are old. That's like, this isn't what's the movie? Remember with what's his face, the British guy who was in Cabaret, where they put everybody to death at age 30. I mean, having said that, in your 80s, it starts to get questionable. I agree. Grassley, the guy must be 93. He should not be there. It's a little crazy. Logan's Run. There you go. Yeah. I mean, but I'm the first one who says when these guys get too old, they shouldn't be there in any job, frankly, because you get too old and, it's not working anymore. But in any case, I'd need to know, I would like to see a lot more about what's going on with Hogue and whether, for example, my suspicion is he probably wasn't just saying Democrats who he thinks don't do enough. He probably was talking about Democrats who've been there forever, and they also may not vote the right way, is my guess. But Michael York, there you go. Thank you. But I mean, I generally like David Hogue. Hogue, however you pronounce his name. Does anybody know, is it Hogg or Hogue? I generally like him. I like his feistiness. I like that he's a little kick-ass, Hogg. Okay, it is Hogg. Okay, thanks, Dust Bunny. Interesting. He was on Pac-Man. What did he say on Pac-Man's show? So what was it? Hogg like the animal? Okay. So what was his main theory? Was it Democrats who aren't voting the right way, or was it just old people and he wants to make room for young people? Which one was it? Gunther, etc. But I think absolutely they didn't kick him out on a procedural ruling. They kicked him out because they didn't like what he was doing. Let's be honest. He's right about that. There's no way, oh, we love you, but there was a procedural issue that came up. Bullshit. That's not true. All right, waiting for you guys to tell me what happened on Pac-Man's show. Primary ineffective Congress people that are in safe blue districts so that we don't hurt the House numbers. Yeah, but I don't know what he means by ineffective. He just means they're old and they don't do much. Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by that. If you just mean they're old and they don't accomplish much, no, we don't do that. I don't even agree with that. I'm not going to primary somebody because they're old and I don't think they're as effective as somebody young. Oh, what a surprise. My favorite people are trying to come through the podcast, are trying to come through the show, and what a surprise. Love you people. You're really winning over hearts and minds. He's not quite saying that, Jason, though, because Jason's saying maybe it's voting the wrong way. He's not saying the wrong way. He's saying ineffective. He's not saying blue dog Democrats, like Democrats who vote with Republicans. That would be an interesting argument. He's saying Democrats who are just not as effective. I'm hearing like, oh, she's good. Dog is still asleep. That's good. She's asleep. So yeah. Anyway, as I said, I think he's got real zeal, but Alexa, how old is David Hogg?
David Hogg is 25 years old.
Oh, he's 25. Okay, he's a little older than I thought. Alexa, stop. He's a little older than I thought. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, no rain tonight. No, she's asleep on the couch. All is well. No rain. But I'm not surprised the party would be pissed. You can't raise money to primary. Not to mention, he's going after like the senior members of the party. Like, seriously, dude, I don't think that's probably the wisest thing to do. And you, even like Dianne Feinstein, you can't do it as a senior Democratic Party official. Dianne Feinstein should have never been there, but a senior DNC member saying I'm going to raise money to kick out Dianne Feinstein, I'm not sure that's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Now, actually, having said that, that's what Pelosi and others did with Biden, though. They kind of went public. Now, they weren't Democratic Party. They weren't the DNC, but they kind of went public to force Biden out. You know, although in Biden's case, it was clear that there was a problem, you know. I don't understand what you mean about the primary, Gunther. I don't understand what you're asking about that. Well, most of the students survived the shooting, so to speak, because I'm trying to remember, did 20 students die? I don't remember how many students died, but it's probably a school of several hundred. So somebody was asking how many students survived, so it would have been several hundred, I'm sure. Anyway, so yeah, not sure what's up with that, but I'm not surprised he's running into trouble, you know, but what do you do? So Viola doesn't want to get old. I don't want to get old either. Fair enough. What else? Yeah, Gunther, I didn't understand your second comment about the primaries, though. Oh, if it's against the rules to run against a same party incumbent, well, that's not even what they're saying. He was raising money as a Democratic Party official to go after Democrat members of Congress. Like, it's like, you know, that's the issue. Is that the DNC actually, and generally speaking, that was the issue the Bernie people had. As I recall, well, I'm trying to remember. I don't deal with DNC stuff enough. I think the idea is the DNC isn't supposed to weigh in, but they kind of do. Like, the DNC does go and try to find the candidate they think is the best candidate for a race. So there is a weird little mix. The problem is when you go after incumbents, it's a very sitting members of Congress. It's a very tricky thing. Like I said, if they're really bad human beings, maybe, right? The DNC is not why we got Hillary. I got news for you. She was the candidate that won. You know, and I mean, let's not even relitigate that bullshit again. You know, this is like the Biden thing. He's the one who won. Bernie Sanders lost repeatedly. America, and by the way, there was no way America was going to vote for Bernie Sanders. People need to really get over that. I'm sorry. You think America was going to elect a Marxist? Seriously? Oh, I know. He's not a Marxist anymore. Do you know how well that goes over in America? I mean, that your argument to defend Bernie is he's not officially a Marxist anymore. Great. Well, I think he was even a Trotskyite, actually, versus a Marxist. That shit would not fly. People liked Bernie when he talked honestly. When they heard all of that stuff, they would not have liked Bernie. And he lost repeatedly. And he had really nasty staff, too. You know, I didn't vote for Hillary because the DNC tricked me. I voted for Hillary because Bernie's staff really pissed me off. So, yeah, no. Let's not get also, by the way, it's been 10 freaking years. Get over it already. This is also what drives me crazy with the Bernie people. This is like Donald Trump. You're complaining about Hillary Clinton 10 years ago? Seriously? But I mean, seriously, folks? Come on. It's like Donald Trump talking about Obama. Oh my God, stop already. I kind of win my argument the second you go, Hillary. Really? Like, I don't know who Carney is, as is. Oh, Carney's your guy. I don't know enough about him. Yeah, I just don't know enough about him. TikTok's having issues. What's it doing? Susan? It seems to be, going. I mean, on my end, it looks okay, but, long story, Nathan. Bernie hired the worst people. Bernie hired the far left, crazy lunatics from outer space people. He hired some good people too, but boy, did he hire people who would have been horrific. David Sirota, that lunatic Bree Joy, whatever the hell her name was, that Nina Turner. Oh my God. I mean, like, horrifically bad people. But that's not the thing. I didn't like Bernie. I think, and honestly, I met Bernie in a meeting. He's not very he's mean. I just am not. He's mean. Which is fine, but you know, he's okay. I mean, he might have been okay as president, but I don't think he would have won. I mean, it would have been better than Trump, obviously, you know, but yeah, well, except Solak, that's when you lose. Solak gave an answer that might be true, but this is when you lose in politics, responding to the Bernie criticism. The problem there is tainting the original meaning of Marxism and communism with the totalitarian implementations of those economic philosophies. As soon as you say that, Bernie loses, right? Well, you're confusing totalitarianism and Marxism, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you know, the man has quite a checkered Marxist past. I think when people learned about it, it would freak them out. It bothers me a little bit, to be honest. AOC's does too. I'm not big on the American socialism is not European socialism. We've talked about this. It's not the same thing. It's, I mean, maybe among some of you it is, but generally speaking, like DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, they're kind of like crazy European socialists. They're not the good guys. They're the bad guys in Europe. They're not the good socialists. And that's what worries me with AOC and everybody else. I like her, but she's like, American socialism is still a bit crazy. So I don't think you're going to win. And even if it weren't, good luck in this country. It's going to be decades before anybody like that wins, you know, that kind of an office. I don't even think you're going to get the presidency for a very long time, you know? Well, Solak, did you see Trump use that quote? Shoot, I meant to talk about this. Trump, I took it down and I didn't do a story on it. Trump has been like flirting with the notion of having tax cuts on the increasing taxes on the rich, right? And people making over $1 million a year. And he literally talked about, I'm going to look, I don't think I can find the quote. I mean, I've got it on my iPad. Like, I copy pictures of quotes and things and I, you know, use them for the show and for my TikTok, but I don't always sort of get to them. Let me look and see if I can find this. Hold on. I mean, I know I've got it here. It's a wild quote from Trump. All right. Drinking water. Retirement accounts. All right. The tariffs. La la la. I may not find this. I mean, it's here, but the problem is it goes back. Oh, here we go. I found it. So Trump is talking about raising taxes on rich people, and he's been flirting with the idea. And listen to this. Trump tells reporters, you know, they'll go around saying, he's saying Democrats are saying this. I think. You know, they'll go around saying, oh, this is so terrible. What you're doing is you're giving up something up top in order to make people in the middle and the lower income brackets save more. So it's really a redistribution, he told reporters. I would love to be able to give people in a lower bracket a big break by giving up some of what I have, Trump says. So Trump talked about redistribution of income and said, they're going to accuse me of redistributing income from the rich to the poor. And I'd love to do that, which I thought was kind of fascinating. I don't know if that's what you were getting at, Solak, but I thought that was absolutely fascinating that he said that, because that's the kind of stuff that Republicans would absolutely die if they saw. Mods, is that guy a troll or what? I'm not paying enough attention here. Anyway. Yes. Okay. Anyway, what else, guys? What else? As I said, we just don't have a ton of news today, really. Books on Bernie? Oh my God, there got to be tons of books on Bernie, I would think. I mean, not I think. I know there are. So, I mean, you'd have to Google and see which ones are any good. Thank you, Brian. You have to Google and see which ones are any good, but I mean, there's going to be a ton. Yeah, that's okay, Ash. I didn't like from what I was seeing, it wasn't clear. So it's just German said so. So I wanted to check it out. Pete's good. Again, I don't know if America's ready for a gay president, but he's very good. Thank you, user 336. Now, Pete Buttigieg has something Bernie has in the sense that, what Bernie's good at is he talks and he's trustworthy. He's sincere. Like, even Republicans hear Bernie and they go, I like what he's saying. He doesn't sound like a bullshit politician, whatever. And Buttigieg is the same way. He's very good at going on Fox News and winning people over. I mean, he's a good speaker, but he also talks about issues in a way that people can relate to. He knows issues in a Bill Clinton kind of way, and he communicates in a Barack Obama kind of way, right? It's like Obama being able to connect people and Bill Clinton in his just knowledge of the issues. But yeah, being gay, Then again, I've said this before, I didn't think America was going to elect a black man in 2008 either. And I didn't think they were going to reelect him. And they did. So, I mean, I was shocked. I supported Obama, but I was shocked Obama won. I thought there was no way in hell America was going to elect a black man, So, and they did, which was great, So who knows? Oh, I didn't see that. The Chapo family is being allowed into the U.S.? Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Well, that's the other question, right? Would Buttigieg win the Democratic primary? I could see several key Democratic constituencies not voting for a gay man. Some of the same ones that didn't like a black woman, to be honest. Some of the exact same people that didn't like a black woman are not going to like a gay man. You know who I mean. Certain key Democratic constituencies. So, exactly. Woodson said, I didn't think they'd elect a felon. True. I mean, yeah, 17 of the Chapos. I can Google the Chapo stuff. That's wild. Buttigieg is very mainstream. Yeah, no, I like him. I like his politics too. I'm very mainstream in many ways. Chapo. Let's see what the news is on Chapo. 17 members of the notorious cartel leader enter the U.S. in deal with Trump administration. Oh, God. Mexico's security chief confirmed Tuesday that 17 family members of cartel leaders crossed into the U.S. last week as part of a deal between a son of the former head of the cartel and the Trump administration. Members of whatever, who was extradited to the U.S. have entered the U.S. Guzman Lopez is one of the brothers left running a faction of the blah, 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 Chapo. I'm confused. Why was this guy let into the U.S.? Why was he let into the U.S.? He believed that was the former cartel boss. Wait, it is evident the family is going to the U.S. because of a negotiation or an offer the Justice Department. Oh, I see. So he's talking and they're giving the family member visas because he's talking. Interesting. Okay. Well, it depends. It depends. If they're getting really good information on this guy to take down like organized crime, drug crime in Mexico, I don't know if I care that his family members come. No, I mean, depends what they're getting, I mean, well, there's the question, right? Whether they bought their way in is a different question. That I would have an issue with. But if they're getting their way in as part of a trade because he's giving information, and again, it depends. If they're not criminals, if they're criminals, then I'm concerned. If they're not criminals, then I'm not. Because just because he's a criminal doesn't mean they're criminals, But who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about it as far as what the what the actual issue is with the family and stuff. Again, it's Trump, which always makes me wonder, right? They could have bought him maybe they bought him an airplane, The Afrikaners, those Afrikaners are going to be major trouble, I'm sure. I doubt they're very good people, the ones that we're letting in. I mean, oppressed white people. I mean, yes, it's possible to be an oppressed white person, but come on, you know? I mean, come on. Books burned by the Beechwood, Ohio Library? No. I can Google it though. Beechwood, Ohio books. Let's see. Ohio man accused of burning 100 books on Black, Jewish, and LGBT history. Beechwood Police Department said the man checked out the books in April, days after he went to the library. He allegedly told the librarian that his son was a member of the LGBT community and he was trying to learn more about it. Library was informed the man had posted a photo showing a car trunk full of books on the site, gab.com, which is a crazy right-wing site. Library was later informed the man posted a video that appeared to show him burning all the books. The books were worth around $1,700. Lovely. Yeah, Gab is an online hub for extremist and conspiratorial content. That's correct. Interesting. That's great. Well, that's lovely. All right. Well, that's nice. Did not know about that, but lovely, as we said. Oh, that's right. We're doing drinks tonight. I forgot about that. Oh, shit. All right. I forgot we're doing drinks with the neighbors tonight on the roof. I totally forgot about that. All right. I'll have to go up there in a minute. I like totally spaced out about that. Good thing I checked my email as we were talking all. What else? Yeah, it'll be nice. Kind of just, we do it with the neighbors occasionally. It's kind of a fun little IT. I don't know that we know. Somebody was asking about Haiti. I don't know that we know anything that's going on with Haiti and the U.S. Meaning we're not following news about Haiti. Like, I don't know anything going on at all. Like, there's no news about Haiti, and I'm not even up on it. I hate to say it, but there's not really news going on. So I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to end soon probably, since ce qui se passe actuellement, where? In the US or in Haiti, I don't know what's going on. In the US, I mean, but I don't know. I don't think we have any position. I mean, Haiti, the US isn't paying attention to Haiti. They're just not. It's not in the news here at all. So, anyway, yeah, no one's paying attention. I'm saying there's no news on Haiti here in the US. It's not a topic. It's not in the news at all. So even I don't know what's going on in Haiti. No one's been talking about it at all here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but they're not. Yeah, sorry. They're just not talking about it. Yeah. It's just not in the news. Typically Haiti also is not really, it's French speaking, it's French influence. It's just not a country the U.S. focuses on, so that unless there's a crisis, an earthquake, a hurricane, a coup, the U.S. doesn't pay attention. Literally, we get news about Haiti when there's a crisis. We never get news about Haiti day to day because it's not an American area of interest, so to speak. Whereas for France, I'm sure it is more of an area of interest. But for the U.S., no. Yeah. So that's the other issue. Thank you, Terry, for the gift. Exactly. Donald Trump can throw more paper around. Exactly. All right, guys. I think I'm going to sign off. Because Sasha's moving. We have movement on the couch. But I think I'm going to go join the neighbors on the roof for a little bit. Usually they do this for 3 hours, which is a bit long for my taste, especially since I don't really drink. I'm like 3 hours. I mean, I drink a little, but 3 hours, I'm like, that's a little long. So I'll go up for a little. I may take Sasha. Sasha does not usually enjoy being up there too long, but I may take her for a little bit. But I will be back tomorrow, 6:00 Eastern. And then Saturday, we are doing our Eurovision show. So join us Saturday, 3:00. Actually, I've already got it set up on TikTok. Discord, I've not set it up yet, but I've got it set up on TikTok and YouTube already. You'll see there's a show set up for Saturday at 3:00 Eastern time US. So it's fun. We hang out. I've got it open to everybody right now. We'll see. If TikTok becomes really trolly, then we'll make it private, but we'll try making it public. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I do drink. I just don't enjoy it as much because I have this theory about drinking. I think different people's bodies are different. if I drink, it gives me a headache. Like my stomach feels, I get a headache. It can feel okay, but generally speaking, you know, I'd rather eat a chocolate bar, you know, than drink alcohol. I don't think it's an allergy. I just think different people react differently to alcohol. Like alcohol has never been such a like chocolate. I could there she is. Look at her peeking up. Sasha is peeking up on the top of the couch there. You can see right there. But like I could eat chocolate until I explode. Whereas if I drink alcohol, I'm not like, oh my God, I want to drink 5 of these. You know, it feels okay. But then I know my head's going to be a little, and if I drink at night, I can get heartburn. Like I've always with alcohol felt kind of like, So, you know, yeah, never. So I drink, but I don't drink. So like tonight, if somebody had something that was maybe a little sweet, I might have one, but otherwise, you know, but exactly. I get a headache from it too. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Have a good night. Also, because Sasha now wants water. So it's the perfect time for me to switch over. All right. Yeah, now you let me turn off. All right, Discord. Goodbye to you first, Jeffrey and Doug. Boom. All right, YouTube. Bye, guys. And TikTokers,